You came back to the WWE in the mid-'80s as an enhancement talent. How did that come about?
Well, I was supposed to start it back as another character. And maybe some people recognized me. And I kind of got scrapped from that character, and I got replaced. So instead of having the spot that I wanted, it was either you take what I got here,
right,
or not. So
okay. How did things change in the locker room from the time you were there before to that time period? Was the locker room different?
yeah, everybody was getting tired, more irritable, not as friendly toward one another. You just get beat down and beat to death after a while. The road catches up with you and different things.
Why do you think you never got a push at that time?
At the time, I was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. I had opportunities to stay in Japan, and I turned that down to come back to New York because I thought that I was going to do one character. And then I had a call from Dusty Rhodes was doing really good in Charlotte, and that's when Charlotte territory was really doing good, and I turned that down because of New York. And then at this time you're pretty much burning bridges to get back here,
Right.
but I knew what was going to be with this new character, and then when everything fell through on it, I didn't have any more bridges to cross.
How did you come up with Demolition?
I wanted the outfit that would kind of fit my body.
Okay.
Because I look more like a gorilla than a bodybuilder, and I wanted it started out to be more like like the old executioners.
Okay.
That you've seen in the, like the medieval times. They was not, they didn't look like a bodybuilder, but they was, kind of big brutes, and so that was pretty much it. And it just kind of put little pieces together here and there.
What was Vince's reaction when you approached him with the idea?
Well, I had asked him about it, and he said, "I'll be at the office Saturday." And I took my day off, and he was off, and I drove up there, and I told the girl that was the secretary, and I said, "Don't want you to be scared, but I got to go put this outfit on." And I said, "It looks pretty bad, but I want Vince to see it." And I had the outfit on, and he walked. As soon as he walked in, he seen the outfit, and he seen me standing there wearing it, and he went, "Oh yeah." He said, "But we got to find you a partner." A partner?
Another partner.
Yeah, and Bill Eadie was a good guy, but I was thinking what all had happened with Sailor White, and I was thinking, oh man, maybe not a partner, but it turned out good. Bill had some obligations in Japan. If it is just like the roll of the dice. The reason I got replaced because there's like 4 guys that go in this area to all the matches, and they was chanting Moondog. So, and you could hear it over the TV when we was in the ring, Moondog,
right.
Moondog, Moondog. If it would have been the next taping session was in Tampa, Florida, if it would have just been bumped to that next session, nobody knew me in Tampa.
Right.
Nobody knew me in Texas. Nobody knew me in California.
But the East Coast.
But right here in this area, when we started, the first night was the Meadowlands, the next night was Hershey Park, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
and the same people went to both matches and sat there and was chanting. And I told them about it. I met them, and they was really good wrestling fans, and they didn't mean anything bad by it. When I was in WCW, finishing up on my way out, we was going to do the Dead-Eye Dick thing.
Right.
And making the videos for that. I said, "You don't realize what you cost," and they and they were just like, kind of like heartbroken, like, man, we didn't mean to do that. I said, no, you know how it is. I hated them for a while for doing it,
Right.
but they was just good wrestling fans. They
Right.
was just, they paid their money. They said, oh, we know who that is. And so that's just the way it worked out.
So who chose? Did you choose Bill Eadie or did Vince choose Bill Eadie?
Vince chose Bill Eadie. Yeah.
Did you like Johnny V as a manager?
Yeah, he was okay. He'd had a good spot and a good run, and then they didn't. You know, it was kind of time to finish up. It's time to finish up and go.
Right.
And he wasn't one of them that was going to go anywhere. He just wanted to stay here, and they didn't have anything, so he ended up in a situation he had to take what was available.
Right.
And he was a little bitter about it, I think. But, you know, when it's time to go, you either go or take what they offer you.
Right.
So,
What were your thoughts on Bill Eadie?
I knew Bill for a long time. I knew him when he was doing different characters. And from Georgia, from the Carolinas.
Right.
And a very nice guy, very smart. He was a big boy. Good shape, so, and he was very good in the ring. So I was really happy about that part.
So when you got cut from the group, it was basically because of that instance with the fans.
Yeah.
Okay. How did you find out?
Oh, they called me on the phone. I was getting ready. I was waiting on my ticket to go to Tampa, and they called and said, you know, they recognize you. We got to replace you. And send the outfit.
Did you feel betrayed since you were the one that came up with the...
Yeah.
Was it a big drop to go from Demolition to the Conquistadors?
The Conquistadors. I don't remember them. It was the Shadows.
Okay.
With Jose Rivera was my partner as the Shadows.
Okay, the Conquistadors were... That was Mac Rivera.
Yeah.
And Jose Estrada?
It could have been. Mac Rivera, he was my partner as the Shadow.
As the Shadow?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it hard showing up for work, watching Demolition get all the success while you were stuck in the opening matches?
Yes.
Did you threaten a lawsuit with Vince?
No, not threatened him. We got all that worked out, but it was like once you get replaced, there's no. It was just a bad situation.
So you didn't wind up suing him, or you did?
I don't think I can talk about that.
Okay.
So.
Okay, no problem. Were you afraid you'd be blackballed?
Well, I didn't work very much after that.
Okay, so you can't really talk about that because the next question was, did you settle and how did it work out? Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't.
Were you surprised that Spot continued with the gimmick?
Yeah. You know, I thought he would do something else, and he just kept on with it. And after when it wasn't used at a good situation, and you abused on TV with it, there's no use of just packing it up and taking it somewhere else. It was time for a change. So.
Was it hard for you getting work after that?
Well, like I was saying earlier, all the opportunities come up when I was putting everything off just to do the demolition thing. And I didn't go to Charlotte. I didn't stay in Japan. And there was a lot of things I had turned down. And then when I went back to New York and it didn't work out, I was kind of, well, don't call me now.
So after it all, do you regret it?
Yeah, I would have, first thing, I would have stayed in Japan for the next trip instead of leaving. Because Andre was over there, and he asked me personally. He said, we'll go down to, I forgot where it was on the coast, and he said, it's great down there. We'll have like 3 weeks off, and we'll make the 5-week trip. And I turned it down. I said, no, I'm going back to New York. So, and, and that was Japan, that was guaranteed money. So.
Sure. How was Vince Jr. different than Vince Sr.?
Vince Sr., whatever he told you, was chiseled in stone. Vince Jr. is very successful. I think if you had to rate him as anything, he's probably a pretty nice guy. I didn't know him really well. He always had kept a distance between the wrestlers and himself, pretty much. But I think he was a pretty decent guy. But he just did things that he had to do.
After the success you had, was it frustrating to be used just as an enhancement kind of talent?
Yeah.
How had Hogan changed?
He was just being tired. Just like he was making all the trips that we was making. Plus, he was having to do extra interviews and personal appearances. So when you'd see him sometime, he looked like he just,
Ready to drop.
Yeah.
Did any of the boys treat you differently?
No.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.